agree, and you'll see that I live in a world that don't give a fuck, bitch.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, Fat Man Buddha, back with another one. And I just want to say I am greatly impressed. I am just across the board on every part of the circle of consciousness here at this table of conspiracies. I'm very impressed across the board. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's starting to finally catch up to where I am. So, this video, I have a lot of mixed things I want to talk about in this video, which is why it might be more of a rant than me doing like I usually do and saying something and having something pop up.
Lord Jesus is a fire.
But, man, I'm very happy that everybody is just rose up at one time. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got on the same page at one time. My bad, my phone. Everybody got on the same page at one time. And look at y'all, man. Just look at y'all. So now everybody who is truly at this table of conspiracy, now we understand that white people are house slaves. White people are house niggas. Yeah, no one can deny that now. That we understand that white people are house slaves, house niggas. Now you start to really understand what that slave rebellion might have really been about. It could have been more war than what they are telling you. Now that we understand that there are 12 black families that run the Illuminati, that runs the whole pyramid, it's 12 black families under one.
Now, if you've been listening to my lectures, you know I've been telling y'all, listen, what's going on is we are going through a planetary shift. The poles are reversing, okay? These beings came and invaded our planet, took over our planet, okay? And they only been here a couple hundred years. I've been telling you guys that, and it's crazy how the ancestors working, right? Because it's like every time I tell you guys something, y'all will DM me, tag me in something. You know, this like, hey, you told me this, and it popped up.
Lord Oris Baratheon, black of hair. Axel Baratheon, black of hair. Lionel Baratheon, black of hair. Stefan Baratheon, black of hair. Robert Baratheon, black of hair. Joffrey Baratheon, golden head.
Everybody's paying attention. It's 12 black families under one. The question is, are white people prepared to hear that they are house niggas?
There ain't no joke. You feel me? You feel me?
And that is the problem with this whole mental disorder that is white supremacy. It is a mental disorder. White supremacy has turned into such a great mental disorder that they are becoming any and everything now. They are dogs and cats and women and men and babies. They are everything except for what they are supposed to be. You understand? It's like the close.
Brace 20,000.
Remark, it says that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. It's very small. You're the minority. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia chiefly tawny. All right, tawny, a darker complexion, right? Not white. America exclusive of the newcomers. Holy soul. All right, what is that saying? America is what? Black or tawny. Holy soul. Except the new people, the newcomers. All right, Benjamin Franklin, you know. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, Swedes are generally of what we call swarthy complexion. As are the Germans, so is the Germans. As are the Germans, so is the Germans. In case you recognize this. I thought this one was kind of funny. We got a pale, pale skin one with the curls. You see the curls? All right, still got like a little fro, huh? You just go to the next page and you see this one. Oh yeah, kind of like the same here. You see this? What I'm saying? See the hair? Go down to him. So, have some of these been whitewashed? I don't know. You know, something we're gonna dig on. But here's the crest again. The X marks the spot. The top. Paradise. Arfashad's kids. What's going on? Shem's kids. All right, and we continue. And as you can see, all these other crests, there's no head. They got other stuff, but the only family here with a depiction of a person, and this is what they look like. You see that? So swarthy, huh? Can I get a so swarthy? You can see the family coat of arms or the crest. Does that say Van Kroonigen? Van Kroonigen or Van Krooniger, right? Van Krooniger. All right, and continuing. You can see here a pale skin person here, and then we got with the horns, right? But you see the family crest. Mueller or what is it? Mayflower? Does that say Mayflower? What? No, Meyer, Hover, something like that. You guys can probably interpret it better than me. It's hard to read that. All right, again, remember, this is from 1395. This is from the 1300s, all right? 1300s. These ain't Africans. This ain't Spain or Portugal. You get what I'm saying? This is not Iberia. We're talking about Germany. Germany. Got another one right here with the hat. Kind of like the conquistador's hat, right? A little bit. Again, with the three crescent moons. From Polarny, I can't read that at all. I'm not even going to try. Got another coat of arms right here, as you can see. So swarthy. We got like, what is this? A dog face, clown? I don't know. But they got some interesting depictions, right, for their family crest. All right. And again, the brother up here, and the family represented. If you can read that. Got another coat of arms right here. You got like the Rams horns on. This is the family, the crest right here. Again with the X. That looks familiar. Maybe some of you can read that. That's the family represented. This is another page of the book, as you can see. The only person represented on this page, and it's a so-called black man, black family, royal black family of Europe. I thought this one was very interesting. What appears to be like the peacock, right? Feather or colors on the tail, right? And if you don't know the significance behind that, to me, I have to get back into that study, but check out my thought videos in relation to the peacock, right? And that's a family crest. Just a quick reminder, we're here in the American Dictionary of the English language, all right? This is actually Webster's 1828 dictionary. All right, I got the official PDF. We're gonna go all the way to the word Swarty. All right, and right here it says swart, right? Almost sounds like steward. Swart, steward, swart, steward. Now, where'd they get the steward? Did it mean black or dark? What is swart? It says being of dark hue, moderately black, tawny, swarth. All right. Down here it says swart, to make tawny or brown. Swart, an apparition. Swartly. All right, duskly with a tawny hue. It says swartness, tawniness, a dusky or dark complexion. Dark complexion, right? Dark complexion. Swarty, being of a dark hue or dusky complexion. Tawny, in warm climates, the complexion of man is universally what? Swarty or what? Black in warm climates. Is there?
So the more you keeping up with these lectures, you will begin to see that everything that I'm telling you is coming to me directly from the source, from the ancestors. All right. I go to Google just to try to back up what I'm telling you guys with some form of human-made construct. All right. But a lot of the information that I have, some things can't even be put into human words. You just have to feel it. Okay. So, these human beings are running scared right now, y'all.
Right? Look like wild men. They got some kind of tattoos or whatever on, and they're trying to invade this castle right here. All right, so you see, these are melanated people. You see their complexion? Look at that. Look how they're dressed. Look at that bow and arrow. Bow and arrow. Who has bow and arrows? All right, so you see up here in the windows. All right, you see down here, so you can see. See up here in the windows, you see? Dark complexion people, right? Swarty Germans. This is in Germany. They're getting their castle invaded. All right, and there's people on the other side behind them too. So you see they're over here hiding. He's fighting. They're over here fighting. Trying to get him off. All right, look at it coming. Look who's coming. All right, so this is real history. This is from 1400 AD. You can't ignore this. So what happened to all these swarthy, so-called black Europeans? What happened to them? They just disappeared? They ended up in Africa and stuff? No. A lot of them were sent over here during the times of indentured servitude, going through this middle passage, being called Black Irish, Black Scots, Black Dutch. All right? Hope you understand a little bit more now.
This is for all the people that think that names don't matter. You see the very top, Lord, Storm God, Baal worship, and you see the top, Sons of Belial. I'm not too sure if I said that correctly, and honestly, I don't care. And here goes that name again, Belial family history. Physical characteristics like red hair, and we could trace them back to what? Britain and Ireland. And that is correct. You could trace all these Celtic gods all the way to Ireland. And I explained in past teachings that the descendants of Esau, Edom, are the descendants of Romans and Europeans. For Esau I hated, and Jacob I loved. Esau, we are told, was the firstborn that was covered with red hair, like a hairy mantle. So these people came from Edom and made it into our territories. And that's why you find them in the UK, the Americas, and Canada. Territories they were assigned to the children of Shem.
A South German tapestry. This is from the Bulletin of the Museum of Fine Arts, Volume 56, number 303, pages 5 to 13. Plus 15 to 17, 12 pages. Again, Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. A South German tapestry. It is indeed a matter for congratulation that the first German tapestry, the first German tapestry to be acquired for the museum should be an outstanding example of an important period in history of European tapestry weaving. The purchase of this tapestry, once a part of the Sigmaringen Hohenzollern collection, was made possible through a fund established by the bequest of Charles Potter Kling. Though precise dating of the tapestry from evidence now available is not possible, there are many reasons to believe that it was woven sometime during the last decade of the 14th century or the first decade of the 15th century, right? Historians know it's from that time period, okay? Might be even older. The subject of the tapestry, startlingly at variance with the subjects of other tapestries in the museum's collection, present an enticing iconographic puzzle. Beginning at the left-hand end of this long narrow strip of tapestry, probably intended to hang above a row of benches, we follow the actions of strange bearded men, clothed in handsomely styled renderings of the traditional hairy covering of the mythological wild man. Armed with stones and branches, the wild men approach a moated castle defended by dusky Moors, dark complexion, so-called black Moors, dusky Moors, all right? So who is the wild man?
The tribe of Dan, the tribe of the Antichrist, the one that broke off the tree of life. The tribes were given colors, and the colors of Dan are blue and white. Blue and white. Mother Teresa, blue and white. And by the way, if you don't know by now, she was a child trafficker. One of the colors of Freemasonry, blue and white. Then there's Lucifer. Our phones, which happens to be black boxes, they also have a blue light. The fake state of Israel, their flag, blue and white. No such thing as a Star of David.
And who is the ones in the castle? All right, pay attention. From the upper windows of the castle, the king and queen watch the approaching horde. The attackers, in contrast to the dark-skinned defenders, all right, again, in contrast to the dark-skinned defenders are giants. But though the danger seems overwhelming, the drawbridge is down and two bowmen advance toward the invaders. To the right beyond the castle, a wild man crowned with flowers struggles with a lion. Two wild men attack a winged dragon, while still farther to the right, another wild man grabs the horn and right leg of a spotted unicorn in an effort to subdue him. The small trees which punctuate these incidents have smooth, sinuous brown trunks, each species of tree indicated by the variations of the elaborate polychrome patterns of the tuft of leaves at the top. Birds flock to one tree to feed on its berries, and tailless brown apes climb the trunk and play in the branches of another. Beyond the apes, a wild man mounted on a stag rides proudly on. Two wild men bring offerings, spoils of the chase, to a wild woman, who with two children is seated on the foot of a stylized pyramidal hill. Subtly calculated irregularities in the angular rock formations of the hill from which grow small trees and flowering plants, give variety to a composition which frames and focuses attention on the strange family scene. The head of the wild woman, her fair hair crowned with leaves, is a silhouette against the rosy shadows of the rocks. The foreground is patterned with small, varicolored mounds, each framing a stylized plant, while at intervals rabbits and other small animals are seen emerging from behind the little mounds. These wild people are outside the clearly defined boundaries of the medieval feudal hierarchy. Their rank and place in society is not shown by the style of their garments. They are clothed, if we may so describe the delicate pattern of which the forms of their bodies are delineated, in soft garments stripped gray, cream, pink, yellow, brown, and green, in a manner to suggest delicately dyed furs. The two wild men who approach the wild woman, one half kneeling as he offers an animal's leg to the woman, all right, an animal's leg, the other slightly bent under the weight of a dead lion on his back. Merely by the angles of their bodies complete the frame and background for the woman with her children, continuing and supporting the rocky hill as the apex of the triangle. The Negro Question, Part 4, The Missing Link, by Lee Cummins. Back in the book, and it's the same image right here. Right, and he says, I had to slow cropping the image, the tapestry down so that we could retrieve the secrets that are hidden on it. As you can see, the black German soldiers are protecting the black German king, queen, and prince who are looking out of the castle. I have slowed the tapestry down even further on the next page. It says iron arrowhead, iron lookout perches, and bronze horn. All right. Professor Boyd Dawkins, page 6 of this book, The Little Black Basque, brought the knowledge of iron and bronze with them. Look closely at the tip of the arrowhead. It's made of iron. Do a double take and look at the lookout perches. They are made of iron, and the horn appears to be made of bronze. Professor Boyd Dawkins was describing a highly technological black civilization in Europe, not Africa. Again, not Africa.
Big shout out to, to the white people that are trying to separate themselves from crackers. Because there is a difference between a white person and a cracker. A white person just wants a piece of land, wants to have kids, wants to sit on their porch with their wife and live their life and die in peace. That's what white people want. That's all they want. They just want to be left alone in peace. Crackers, there is no peace. There is absolutely no peace. They would rather see this world burn than anybody be better than them, even if it is their own kind. Yeah, they play like white power and everything, white unity, but as soon as we're gone, they're gonna kill everyone they deem as impure. This is their mentality. When have they not been at war?
All right. Also on this page, let me just show you. All right. All the way to the right again, another person, and again, so-called black man, right? So Swarty, right? This is the crest. So you can see. And the family, if you can read that. Got another one right here. All right. Another one with the feather. And this is the family. Does that say Bukoop or Buenkorp? Burendorf. But I cannot read that writing at all. It's very hard for me. But that's the coat of arms of this family. Again, you see, the only head in this page as well. The only person or face represented in any of the crests in this page. And again, it's a Swarty, so-called black family. More coat of arms. Another page. Appears to be another feather right here. A woman. All right. Now we got double-headed, so-called black man, and we've got pale skin but curly hair. Again, Very interesting coat of arms. More coat of arms right here. These two, as you can see, so Swarthy with her long braid coming down. And we know this symbol right here already, right? The Fleur de Lis or Lis, something like that. Again, two so-called black families of royal black Europeans represented here. And again, that was the jewelry coat of arms book or armorial from 1395, all right? 1395. Right, real quick, huh? We're at the Brotherhood of St. Christoph of Alberg. It says about us, the Brotherhood St. Christopher was founded in 1386 by Heinrich de Foundling, an orphan and simple herdsman. The Brotherhood now has over 20,000 members from all over the world. All right, just a little history. The only reason I came here and wanted you guys to know is because they have a bunch of manuscripts in their website of coat of arms that had, was very interesting and very important for us to see and know about. All right. So a couple of these manuscripts, we went into them. So for example, we're going to go into this book. It says Book of Messengers of the Brotherhood of St. Christoph and Malberg.
Who are the Brotherhood without banners in A Song of Ice and Fire? The Brotherhood without banners are an outlaw group. Originally, they were sent by Eddard Stark to bring Gregor Clegane, who had been setting the Riverlands on fire, to justice.
It says the owners of the Royal Barbarian Order of the Knights of St. George, huh? So, why do they own that stuff? So let's go take a look at what's in there. And, most of the book, as you can see, I'll click on a page. Most of it's just, crest, no people or heads represented really that much. But then we get to a couple of them. Here's one right here, as you can see. They do have a couple of white people here or pale skin representations. But, of course, just wanted to show you the ones they never show us, right? Look at this one right here. Again, all right, all coat of arms. Noble European families. You see how this one is chained up? It's chained up with this other family, meaning they might be related, all right? Or they might be united, marrying between each other, all right? Or up to same offspring, same clan, same tribes. As you can see, a so-called black family, a noble black family of Europe. Look at that symbol. And here's another one up close. All right. As you can see. Look at the crest right now. Look at that. Look at the crown going around. And these are the letters under it. Very hard to see. And you can see so-called black man, right? Represented on a coat of arms. Noble families of Germany. All right, here's another one. Just want to show you this one. Look at this one. Wow. And with the feather, again, these feathers look like the ones you see in the Egyptian hieroglyphics. All right, but who'll be rocking the feathers? All right, who'll be rocking the feathers, huh? Again, something that was blurred out here or something. I don't know what that is. Again, this is in their book. It's from the 1400s, I believe. This one right here is from the 1400s. This other book they got here, or manuscript, very old manuscripts they have here. It says Virgil Raber, Book of Coat of Arms of the Arlberg Brotherhood, 1548, 220 Classic Weimar Foundation, Duchess Anna Amalia Library. I'm going to go to that one right now. All right. And it's right here. A lot of crests and shields. I'm going to zoom into some of them. Very interesting. Most of these are just symbols and stuff. They don't really have people, but the ones that do have people, most of them, I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to zoom into this one right here. It says 3V4R. As you guys can see, 3V4R. All right. Look at this. All right. Let me show you. Look at that. Now, what is it telling us here? This is Sardinia. The coat of arms of Sardinia. Check out the original. All right? Check out the original. Sardinia. And then here, I'm going to skip this one. Algarbia, it says, or Algarbia. And again, the one over here on the right, it says Cordia. And another page here. Zoom into this one right here. All right, as you can see. You can read the writing right there. I can't really read it. Eggfries or Eggfirst. Jeffries. Can't really understand, but as you can see, it's the only face here in all these crests, you see, and what do they put, you see? This is Wild Men in the Middle Ages, a study in art, sentiment, and demonology by Richard Bernheimer, Harvard University Press. And real quick, I go to chapter 1, The Natural History of the Wild Man, just to read a little bit about this. It says here instead, this book deals with literary and artistic figure whose imaginary character is proved by its appearance. It is a hairy man, curiously compounded of human and animal traits, without however sinking to the level of an ape. It exhibits upon its naked human anatomy a growth of fur, leaving bare only its face, feet, and hands, at times its knees and elbows, or the breast of the female of the species. Frequently the creature is shown wielding a heavy club or mace, or the trunk of a tree, and since its body is usually naked except for a shaggy covering, it may hide its nudity under a strand of twisted foliage worn around the loins. Where any characteristics other than these appear, there is a possibility that instead of a wild man, we may be beholding another imaginary figure such as a devil, faun, or satyr. The creature itself may appear without its spur, its club, or its loin ornaments. Any one of its characteristics may be said to designate the species. This strange relative of Homo sapiens, a lively and sometimes pungent commentary on the bestial side of his nature, plays an astoundingly persistent, although on the whole subordinate part in the art and literature of the Middle Ages. But even though the frequency of the wild man's appearance in art and letters is not quite matched by the importance accorded to him in medieval thinking, his ubiquity must be regarded as a sign that he represented a major, if unacknowledged, trend of thought. All right, everybody was talking about this wild man. So is it really myth? His presence is like the running commentary with which a man's half-conscious imaginary accompanies his conscious ideals and aspirations, a reminder that there are basic and primitive impulses clamoring for satisfaction. Medieval literature and art are shot through with the mythology of the wild man. We find him in the clipped verses of French Arthurian romance, in the epics of German minstrel singers, and in the writings of Cervantes and Spenser. The whole vast field of late medieval secular art is his playground, from prints and paintings by Albrecht Dürer and Peter Bruegel to the love caskets and tapestries which medieval swains presented to their ladies, or the tools of chivalry, such as saddles and ornament weapons. His place in medieval daily life was assured by the appearance of his image on stove tiles, candlesticks, and drinking cups, and on a larger scale on house signs, chimneys, and the projecting beams of frame houses. His figures even invaded religious buildings and in liturgical books, being found on the borders of illuminated manuscripts, on capitals, choir stalls, baptismal fonts, tomb plates, and as a gargoyle on the eaves of churches. All right, so you see where they found all this. So you see how the wild man is portrayed in all this history, right? And all this art and all these buildings. Is it more than just myth? Once on the facade of a Spanish church, it observed the place which should have been given to the saints, standing full size on the jambs of its main portal. So great then was the ubiquity of the wild man in medieval life, and so wide his acceptance in art, that the question arises what function, individual and social, a figure such as this could have exerted, and what needs it could have satisfied within the framework of medieval civilization. Right, so I wanted to go to page 147. is where they mention the tapestry we're talking about today. And it says here, there are in one tapestry only hairy wild men assailing blackamoors, including a black king and queen, including a black king and a black queen.
So the artificial womb is not new. This technology has been around for a very long time. The sad thing is that many people die waiting for organs. So you're telling me you could grow a whole baby, but you can't grow organs? I'm pretty sure you guys heard of Grand Tutorial. Well, Grand Tutorial ran on AI technology, and that's where the Tower of Babel was located. Grand Tutorial extended worldwide, and it was destroyed by a big giant mud flood. Grand Tutorial is part of Europe and Asia, Russia and China, Gog and Magog. These are the descendants of Japhet, the Gentile nations. Grand Tutorial was erased from historical records. In 1896, they had incubator babies on display. They grew these babies. The incubator babies of Coney Island. Are you guys familiar with the orphan trains? Thousands of orphan children from Europe, Grand Tutorial, flooded Canada, America, and South America. All our territories, without parents, orphan babies. And they were in care of by the Catholic Church, of course. So all these children came into our territories without any parents, orphans. I don't believe them to be orphans. I believe these were the incubator babies. It kind of reminds me of a movie that I saw when I was growing up called The Children of the Corn.
Foundling was founded on the 8th of October 1869 by Sister Mary Irene Fitzgibbon and the Roman Catholic Sisters of Charity. The New York Foundling then became one of the oldest and largest child welfare agencies of New York City. Once again, in the same time frame of the Victorian period, the bizarre incubator babies were exhibited at the World's Fair called the Exhibition of the Industry of All Nations at Bryant Park in New York City from July 1853 to November 1854. However, vast numbers of the incubator babies were also shown at other World's Fairs across mainland Europe and elsewhere on planet Earth. This activity continued right up to when the World's Fair, known as the Fremantle Industrial Exhibition, was organised in the port of Fremantle next to the Swan River of Western Australia.
I'm going to read from this one real quick. This book is called The Wild Man, Medieval Myth and Symbolism, Timothy Husband, with the assistance of Gloria Gilmore House. A couple of the images here in this book, very interesting. It says here, Wild Man, pen and ink illustration from Ballade de une homme sauvage, France. This is from around 1500. In the introduction of the book, it says here, thought to live in remote, mountainous, and forested regions, the wild man especially flourished in the wooded or alpine regions of the German-speaking lands, right? German, right where the tapestry was made, right? Showing these wild men in Germany trying to invade this black king and queen, such as the Harz, Fichtel, and Allgäu mountains of Germany. That's where the legends have them, in these mountains of Germany. The Alpine regions of Carinthia and the Tyrol in Austria and Graubünden and Wallis in Switzerland. In many such areas, the myths have survived to this day, still celebrated in festivals, masquerades, and dramas. Not limited to these regions, however, the wild man myth thrived throughout Western and Central Europe. In these forests, the wild man was said to make his home in caves, rocky crags, dank burrows, hollows in tree trunks, and other rude places. Occasionally, he fashioned primitive hovels of branches and mud, and 11th century Hessian documents refers to such an abode as a Wilderow, Wibu, Hus, wild woman house. Toward the end of the 14th century, Heinrich von Hessler states in Die Apocalypse that the wild man lived only in places unfit for human habitation, in fens and woods, in water and in mountains, in caves and in bushes. All right, and it has all these other languages. Notions of the wild man habitat had changed little by the end of the 16th century, as Edmund Spencer's description, The Fairy Queen, indicates. Just want to go over this image right here before we continue. It says, Wild Man, detail of a manuscript illumination from the Luttrell Psalter, England, from 1335 to 1340. London, the British Library manuscript, all right? This is a photocopy from the 1300s, right? This is all over there, art. You know, how much of a myth is it? By every account, the wild man's behavior matched his primitive surroundings, strong enough to uproot trees. He was violent and aggressive, not only against wild animals, but also against his own kind. What does that sound like? His brutish, contentious nature expressed itself in a natural combativeness against which neither beast nor man was equal, though his club, and sometimes only his bare hands, was his only weapon. With his instinctive knowledge of the ways of wild beast, the wild man was skilled hunter, but in spite of his physical supremacy, shrank from contact with humans and frequently even with his own kind. Indeed, his inept social abilities apparently limited him to only that cooperative union required for procreation. Like in agriculture, he was forced to eke out a subsistence from hunting and gathering. Though taught to crawl around on all fours, he scratched tubers and roots from the ground, picked berries and gnawed on verdure. When he killed game, he ate it completely raw. According to Chatrien de Troyes and Vane, by many accounts, the wild man also indulged in cannibalism. By the 16th century, this habit brought him into association with werewolves and other flesh eaters. Wild men were commonly thought to abduct children, but often only to fulfill parental instincts. Instances of wild folk substituting changelings for human children are also recorded. Although he was a hunter, the wild man was frequently hunted. Illustrations of the 14th century depict the wild man on all fours at bay, pursued by hounds and hunters on horseback. Incapable of speech, the wild man muttered only unintelligible sounds or none at all. I want to show some more images here. It says the wild man at bay, detail of manuscripts, illumination from Psalter of Queen of Mary, England, 1300 to 1325. All right, look at that. The wild man, all hairy, dogs going after him.
This Pacific World's Fair ended on the 26th of April 1895. The incubator babies were then concealed from the public. The individual known as Martin Arthur Cooney was an obstetrician in the United States of America who became known as the incubator doctor. He established an amusement park slideshow called the Infantorium, in which Europeans, Canadians and Americans paid 25 cents to view prematurely born minors displayed as the incubator babies. Whose children were the incubator babies? Where had they originated from? How was it possible for parentless infants to be exhibited as a sideshow at the World's Fair? Nothing that we have been given as the officially crafted narrative of history is correct.
Says here, wild man playing a Rebek Orpheus wooden bread mold, Switzerland, 16th century. Okay, check it out. Says Nebuchadnezzar cast out among the beast. Nebuchadnezzar, the wild man. Detail of manuscript illumination from the Bible of San Pedro de Roda, about 1000 AD. Look at that, Paris, the wild man. And another one with Nebuchadnezzar cast out. Goes the wild man right here. And I just want to show some in color that they have in this book. Pretty cool images. We got dragons. We got the people with the face chest people. The chest face people, right? Big ear people. And then we got the hairy wild man. All different types of humanoids, all right? Addressing these myths of Middle Ages. Here's another wild man drawing depiction, all right? And you see the wild man got the boars he brought with him to help him fight. It says Alexander in combat with wild men and beasts. Okay, Alexander. And of course, this is the one we're talking about today. This is the German tapestry, right? Showing the black king and queen with their people fighting off the wild man, the pale-skinned wild man. All right. It says here, wild men storming the Moor's castle. Wild men storming who? The Moor's castle. Wild men storming the Moors, so-called Negro people in Germany, right? In a castle. And they're the wild men. This is the other part again of the tapestry we've already talked about. One of them is fighting the lion. The other one's fighting the dragon. And another one's fighting the unicorn. Again, to me, the unicorn and the dragon are the same. Lion, these are all the lineages, the Khans. Come on, the Drakons, the Amarus, and the Judas. What's going on? A wild woman. Look at this wild woman. She's pale skinned. Wild woman with a unicorn. The wild woman with the dragon. And these are all like wild people. Hairy man right here. Two wild men and two pairs of lovers. And then look at this wood carving. Hairy man. A wild man, it says. Some more paintings right here. The wild man. And look at this one right here. The wild man. Who's the wild man? The wild man. Look at this. On top of a castle. The wild man. And then they depicted King Kong. And more wild men and wild women with a coat of arms. Wild couple supporting the arms of the Grafschaft Kaiberg. Wild men. And wild men on top of the castle. On the wild men storming the Moor's castle and other scenes. Germany, Alsace, Strasbourg. About 1400, all right? Around 1400. Where is it located again? Boston Museum of Fine Arts. From left to right, 5 tall wild men covered with striped woolly body hair and armed with stone sticks, clubs, and fronts attack a castle peopled with small Moors.
Most of the immigrants who left mainland Europe for safety reasons then settled in North America. However, the immigrants could not have constructed the massive buildings in locations such as Baltimore, in Maryland and Richmond, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, alongside the numerous other urban settlements of the eastern United States that are seen in so many photographs from the Victorian period. Most of the urban settlements did not have industrial railroad networks, and most individuals had to use the horse and the buggy to travel around. Therefore, the evidence suggests that it is very likely the Tartarian Aryans constructed the elaborate and ornate buildings that were found.
And of course, in the Tartarian studies, we see that there's evidence of a worldwide mud flood.
Oh, I've got your ass. So today, we're in Leeds. And when I say it's a mud flood thing, it's a mud flood thing.
In our study of the true history of our Earth, the incubator babies is what really got me. A gut punch like no gut punch I had ever experienced before. Of course, from the incubator babies, we lead into the concept of orphan trains. We look at how all of a sudden, in the 1800s, coming into the 1900s, our world was overrun with children. Children who had no parents. Children who were allegedly orphaned. So where did these orphans come from? Is it possible that there was a mud flood that took out Tartaria? And then just like in the Apocryphon of John, one of the missing books of the Bible, again, Apocryphon means secret teaching or secret message. Is it possible then at the start of Gog and Magog, the controllers, Luciferians, were granted access to the DNA of the dead bodies from Tartaria, where they were then able to start to manipulate our DNA and grow our ancestors on this timeline in incubators? Is it possible that this is where all these orphans came from? Now, I have no way of proving this is true or not, but once you see the reality of the situation with all these children, you can't deny that something doesn't add up. Now, of course, again, everyone will play it off. Well, maybe there wasn't as many orphanages as we think there was, but that is simply not true, because when we look at the Newsies strike of 1899, that then rolled into the child or children's strike of 1899, the New York City itself was shut down because the laborers, the children, refused to work. Now, if you look at mainstream media articles or mainstream media references to the Newsies strike or the children's strike of 1899, they will tell you that a lot of these children were children of immigrants, and that after school, they would go and sell newspapers to try to raise money for their family. But if you actually go through the archives, they mention nothing about these children having parents. In fact, in all the archived articles, archived references of this particular strike, it labels the children as orphans and street kids. It talks about how most of these children were able to hawk newspapers in the freezing New York winters without so much as a jacket.
So they moved up the timeline first from 2030 to 2025. And what they wanted is any natural born humans created in the divine image of God, natural, would have to be depopulated by 2025. And they are pretty on target. I do not believe, given my faith, I believe that there will be a remnant, but they are going to make great strides, and they are bringing on the new humans. The new humans began coming forth from the vaccinated parents. And soon they won't even use a human to gestate. Everything, according to the United Nations mandate, there can be nothing from nature, not even reproduction. So that will have to be done in a laboratory. That's why we're seeing things like artificial wombs and that type of thing.
Just to let you know that these babies will not be passing through the living waters.
Allow ourselves to fall into the pit of hate because of what the New World Order has done in history. We have an obligation, all colors of people, to seek the truth and to teach the truth, no matter how hard it is to swallow. All right, he makes a point there.
We have an obligation, all colors of people, to seek the truth and to teach the truth, no matter how hard it is to swallow. All right, he makes a point.
This is their mentality. So everything's coming out. Everything is just out in the open. All of their white heroes don't exist. All of their white heroes are frauds. All of their white heroes don't exist. Every movie is about us, copper tone people. Every superhero is about us. Every real life legend is about us. They have no true story. And the more that's coming out, the more they are trying to recreate everything. They're burning books.
Okay. He ain't okay, nigga.
They're getting rid of the evidence that everyone is coming to terms with. And like I said, shout out to the white people, because they are separating themselves from crackers, because they internally understand that whatever is coming for those who have peace. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, we kind of have a cheat, because we will be purged of everything. Because you have to understand, everybody who sits here talking about, oh, to all the people, white people going to, some of y'all won't make it. All of us is going to make it. All of us is going to make it, because when you observe the fact that we have been born into a condition, and every time we try to rise above or change that condition, we were always executed, forcing us to reside within the condition and turning us away, forcibly turning us away and manipulating us into turning us away from being better, from what we used to be. So to everybody who says that not all of our people is going to make it, that's a lie. All of our people is going to make it, and all our people is going to be purged. Because divine law says that if you are forcibly born into a condition and not allowed to be better than what your condition is around you, then you can be purged of everything evil, because that's not your true intention. You're stuck in a situation where your soul has turned into something that it was never meant to be by force. And everyone who sees that you're trying to change has been programmed and manipulated into forcing you into staying in the same position that you're in, the same type of spirit that you're in, the same type of soul that you're in. So for anyone to say that our people is not going to make it, that's a lie. Because you have to recognize divine laws, and that is a divine law. 7 on 7 on 7. That is a divine law.
So their system is not stopping. And then finally, I want to say that we need one idea. And we're not thinking about a solution to the problem. We're dealing with all these other things, but these are diversions from the solution to the problem. And we have to start to think about a solution to the problem, so that these young brothers and sisters who are here now, who are 15, 16, and 17, are not here 25 years later talking about these same problems. Now, how do I know that the white people know that we are going to come up with a solution to the problem? I know it because they have retina scans, they have what they call racial profiling, DNA banks, and they're monitoring our people to try to prevent the one person from coming up with the one idea. And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this problem, because they are going to kill us. And I will leave on that. So we have to just set up our own system and stop playing and get very serious and not be diverted.
So not only do you have to free the land and help to liberate the rest of the planet Earth for political power again. You'll have to do it so that all humanity can once again get back on its proper course. And we can live life as it's supposed to be lived. Become more godlike. The object of this knowledge is to be a reflection of yourself in the mirror of history. And when you look in that mirror, you will see God, because each one of us are in the image of the Creator, the Ancient of Days, with the lamb woolly hair and the color of amber. And as Jeremiah said, he looked like the pitch of oven. Each one of us are reflections. When we look in the mirror, we see God. God shining forth from us. And if you truly believe in the Creator, then you know that you cannot accept a life other than the highest and the best that you can get out of it.